этот раз мне просто чертовски повезло, поскольку я не за рулем, могу головой вертеть туда-сюда, и хочу на этот раз показать, как в Украине творческие пенсионеры соединяют познания о нашей стране. Саша едет за рулем, скорость достойная, и мы спешим. Но по дороге мы заедем в самое красивое историческое место, которое связано с одной дамой. Ну вот, мы приехали в город Умань и идем в Софиевский парк. Вот такая здесь красота.
Visiting this picturesque corner is a great stroke of luck. It's not just a park, it's an enormous diamond for a beloved. It was discovered and cut in 1796 by the Polish magnate Stanisław Potocki, who presented it to his wife Sofia on her birthday. Those were the times when many nobles, without sparing their resources, crafted magnificent masterpieces that have endured for centuries. Today one can only admire the traditions of that era and the generous gestures of devoted men. Today, the Dendrological Park stands as a masterpiece of global garden and park art. It sprawls across an area of 180 hectares. A day wouldn't be enough to explore its hidden corners and revel in the harmony shaped by the creations of human hands and nature. As I strolled along the central alley, I marveled at the miniature recreation of Switzerland. Overhanging cliffs above the stream, covered in exotic trees, gave the sensation of a distant mountain paradise. At the top of the Tarpeian Rock, a wooden gazebo perched majestically, resembling a crown on the head of a queen. How it remains there is truly astonishing. On both sides of the alley, with their crowns intertwined, grow exotic trees that are over 100 years old. From the heights of their interwoven canopies, the melodious trills of birds seeking refuge from the heat can be heard. Yet, as I approach the middle of the alley, the sound of rushing water infiltrates their song, as if a stream is murmuring ahead. And indeed, just a few more meters, and the sight of an antique splendor emerges, the source of the silver keys. It's the long-awaited gift on a hot day. The water is crystal clear, refreshing, spring-fed, instantly cooling. Turning my head from side to side, I didn't notice how I found myself in a square among souvenir vendors and artists. But it's not their creations that caught my eye. Ahead stood a massive pavilion with brilliantly white columns. This is the Flora Pavilion. I hurry to climb the granite steps, enter inside, and involuntarily pause. Before me unfolds a sinuous pond stretching into the distance, at the center of which a fountain of water shoots skyward to an immense height. To it I go. But which side is the best approach? I'll go in the direction of the sun, veering to the left, clockwise. Interestingly, this park was created in an almost treeless area in the valley of the Kamianka River, surrounded by deep ravines and granite cliffs. When designing the park, the architect skillfully utilized the terrain, allowing him to craft cascading lakes, waterfalls, channels, widen grottos, and lay numerous alleys and pathways. Along these pathways, architectural structures and sculptures, mostly from the ancient era, were placed. Today, replicas of those sculptures stand in their stead. All of this enchanting topography wouldn't appear as mesmerizing without the green plantings. On the slopes and in the valleys, both local and exotic trees and shrubs were planted. Currently, the park is home to over 3,000 taxa brought from all around the world. Thanks to the combination of different tree species, their fusion with water bodies, rocks, and architectural structures, recognizable landscapes of various regions have been composed. You can stroll through the English Park and cross the Kamyanka River via the Venetian Bridge. Walk along the Champs-Élysées and peer into the Mirror of Diana Grotto, then embark on an unforgettable boat journey through the underground realm of Hades, spanning over 200 meters. You can even take a carriage ride along the main alley. In Sofiyivka, there's an island dedicated to love, the most enchanting of emotions. On this island stands the Pink Pavilion, built in the Renaissance style. According to superstition, a couple that visits this place will keep their love forever. However, I believe this to be untrue. Love is complex. Throughout its history, the park has undergone numerous changes, passing through the hands of different owners, with certain sections being reconstructed, new structures being built, and new plants being introduced. It went through several name changes as well, at times being called Tsaritsyn Garden. The park was affected by natural disasters like revolution, war, and other catastrophes, leading to the destruction of many of its features and the loss of plant life. However, despite all this, the park provides everyone with the opportunity to immerse themselves in a magical world of nature, beauty, and love. Sofiyivka is beautiful in any weather and season, serving as a true haven, for instance, for selfie enthusiasts, romantic encounters, walks with children, and moments of meditation. We spent 4 hours wandering through the park, and now we're hurrying on to new adventures and surprises, but this time beyond the Cherkasy region. We've decided to reach the southern Bug River, a river that defies all notions of Ukrainian steppe landscapes. Yes, indeed, the steppe. Even for me, what I saw became a small geographical and ethnographic revelation. Let's talk about ethnography. In the Cherkasy region, as you might recall from previous footage, I traveled to remote villages in search of old thatched roof houses and didn't find a single one in decent condition. Yet, here in the Odessa region, the moment we veer off the road, we find ourselves in the true past, 100 years ago.
This is a true antique rarity. I wonder how old this car is. It's a Moskvich automobile, only the name remains. The ignition lock is there, and the control pedals, and the engine. And here's a surprise, a genuine relic. This is a very old house, its roof covered with thatch. People still live in it. The lock on the door is hanging, so no one is home. Let's move on. And here's another old house with its roof also made of thatch. It's definitely empty. People have either passed away or left, abandoning the house. We continue our journey through the village, amazed by what we see. Here's another house with a thatched roof. It's locked, and it seems no one lives here either. The windows are still original, old. There are many such houses in the village. We're curious to get inside and see how life was arranged. We'll try. Let's go around the house from the other side. Maybe there's an entrance and we can go inside. The shrubbery has grown so dense it's impossible to pass through. It looks like we won't be able to reach the door. Fences are everywhere and the gate is closed. Shutters are on the windows. Let's go look for a house where there are people.
Don't be surprised, it's not a museum exhibit or a facade for tourists. This is an ordinary residential mazanka under the reeds, and people live in it. My fascination with old houses led me here, and I was eager to step inside, to learn about the way of life, and to see if there are any similarities with the traditions of central Ukraine. Differences in the exterior design of the house are immediately apparent, but I'll talk about those differences later.
There are no fences in the villages here. We found an interesting house and are calling the owners. Mistress, In this village, located in the Odessa region, there are a lot of similar houses. The roof of this house is covered with reeds. Does such a roof really not let rainwater through? Why don't people make roofs out of iron? We will find out this secret later. There's a lock on the door here. Look what an interesting barn, and this is the basement, and they are all also covered with reeds. This is real old. It's like we went back 100 years into the past. How to go inside? The door is very low. It looks like goats and sheep were kept in this barn. The cow will not come here. And here comes the hostess. Hello. Do you live here? Yes, we are very interested to see how such a house looks inside. Can we go inside the house and see how everything works inside? Of course you can. Do you live here yourself? I have a husband and 6 children, 5 daughters and 1 boy. I'm a grandmother. I have 4 grandchildren. I am a very happy woman. The owner's name is Natasha. Come into the house, but be careful. My husband has put his fish tackle here. He has not yet had time to clean it up. This is a living room. It's big. What an old table. He's just unique. And what a beautiful sideboard you have for dishes. He is very old. And what an old chest you have. Is it still from your grandmother? Yeah. It's full of old clothes inside. And this is a Soviet wardrobe. It is simple. My sister asked me not to throw away the old furniture. She will give it to the museum. This is the second room. Was there ever a big oven here? No. There is only a small stove here. It is called rough. Where do they prepare food? Right here on this burner. It's dark in here. The light bulbs burned out. The stove is heated with firewood. They are placed through the top and the ashes are removed from the bottom. This stove also served to heat the house. It's also simple here.
In some villages, enterprising villagers are trying to preserve the heritage by purchasing old cottages, restoring them, and making them available for tourists. People can come, stay, experience rural life, taste traditional dishes, and get acquainted with the ways of their ancestors. This is a great initiative, as these old cottages will stand for a long time, serving as a memory for future generations.
The old houses have been reconstructed and now tourists can stay in them. We found another very old and interesting house covered with thatch. Let's try to call the owners and talk to them. Mistress, hello. Mistress, hello. Hello, can we talk to you? And why is this cat rolling around on you? He really enjoys walking with me while sitting on my shoulder. Hello again. We're interested in old houses. We'd like to learn the history of such houses and meet the owners. What's your name, Nina Petrovna? How old are you? 81 years old. How old is your house? I don't know. Who lived here before? I don't know that either. I moved here from Kazakhstan. My son bought this house. Nina Petrovna, were you a teacher? How interesting. I was a teacher too in Kyiv. It's very nice to meet a colleague. I taught art.
Все життя викладала в школі.
Чего? Что?
Я працювала в Київському ліцеї, викладала образотворче мистецтво.
Еще один.
Another house, but it's partially ruined. Here we want to see what the walls are made of. This house has almost collapsed. The windows and doors have been taken out for firewood. The ceiling has caved in. It's dangerous to enter the house. The house is made of bricks. The bricks were made from clay, manure, and straw. Then the walls were plastered with clay and whitewashed with lime. Such a house is quite warm.
Here is another distinct feature in cottage construction. In the steppe zone, there is almost no forest, so clay, wattle, and straw were used in building houses. The absence of window frames in old houses indicates the high cost of wood. They were removed for firewood. Wood is highly valued in this region.
As we were leaving the village, we found a very interesting house. We were drawn to its unique courtyard structures and the reconstructed roof. In the yard, there were other intriguing buildings, giving the impression that gnomes live here. Hello, can we come in? How old is this house? Probably more than 100 years old. Were you born here and lived here all your life? No. My wife Liusia, she's the owner and she was born here. Mrs. Liusia, how old is this house? It's very old. My parents built it. The roof at the very top is covered with iron. Some houses have their roofs repaired, adding a metal ridge. Interesting courtyard. Lilies, apple trees, intriguing sheds. This is reed cane. It grows along rivers and in marshy areas. It used to be abundant and strong. In our childhood, we made fishing rods from it and went fishing. Now it has become thin and fragile. Pests eat it, creating small holes and causing the cane to break. It can still be used for roofing. Why don't you replace the entire roof with metal? Why? It's not good. With this kind of roof, we have warmth in winter and coolness in summer. Here it gets very hot in summer and the metal heats up significantly. There's your answer to why they use thatch for roofing here. These are roofing materials in preparation. The thatch needs to be dried. A young family lives in this small house. It's white and beautiful. They've already installed modern plastic windows, but kept the old roof. That's life in the Ukrainian steppes.